you know the first principle thinking that Elon Musk uses. So he think about what elements, what resources he puts in the car and finds the way to uh, to get that resource and build the software itself, build the hardware and the car and the rocket himself. So it will be the most uh, less expensive. It is will be the least expensive way if he does all these things alone and grabs the thing from the first perspective, from the first principle. If he grabs the elements uh, himself directly, so you could think about first principle also in software. So what software is what the client needs or requires. If a client is simple and he is not willing to pay a lot, you should not over engineer your product and put a lot of complicated architectures, design patterns, dependency injections, testing, and, and use shiny frameworks and libraries. And that especially one that you don't have experience with. The shortest path to points is the most known path. So this will help you speed up development and spend less time on clients that do not pay that much. Another point is the business analysis, is to realize what actually the client needs. Sometimes the client doesn't need an app. He just needs a simple website accessible from web browser. And especially if requirements of the application are some some GPS location, NFC, Bluetooth, camera, high security performance, and some other low level stuff, you could probably implement some application. But if your if the client only needs some data, a simple site is a good enough solution and technology to use for the specific client. So another point of view is from software development perspective. Take into account how and handle all cases. Everything happens all the time, and software should be prepared for and should be prepared in every case and in well detail. This is handling the else clauses and always handle exceptions. This is completing a full automate, complete automat, automatic machine that has handled all the cases. And one of the things that test-driven development reassures is the handling of all the edge cases and that are fixed and rechecked after new code changes. And after every code change, the problem in the edge cases could be rechecked. And there is somehow similar decision to be made when picking the right software, like I said before. So in terms of software development, this is the choice between multiple cloud providers, between multiple backend general purpose languages like Java, .NET, JavaScript, and Node.js, Ruby, and others. And there are also endless amount of front-end libraries. Do you need SEO? So you will code in web technology. If you don't need SEO, search engine optimization, you could pick whatever technology that builds a web app that you will not over engineer and get the HTML out as because the one application doesn't need to be strictly understandable by search engines and parsers. And on each of these levels, uh, cloud providers, front-end technologies, backend general purpose languages, there are even more layers and more technologies, more options to choose from. So in my personal opinion, the best choice is always the most well known, and to first dive into what actually a client needs and what is the problem to solve, and so on. So this is more important, like Steve Jobs has said, than the complexity of technology.